everyone, it's Sarada and I scribble, and today is hopefully going to go better than yesterday. It is Inktober day 25 and I have this piece to ink. And I'm starting late today again, and I finally realized why I keep doing this. This week I'm supposed to get a package in the mail with some Fudenolske brush pens, and I really want them. Like, I want them so much, and we don't get the mail until like 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Either way, so that is why I've been like waiting and stalling and stuff. This is a drawing of two of my OCs from Bourgeois Monogatari. They are Epsilon and Sigma, and they're a very cute lovey-dovey couple. So I'm gonna get to inking this. Plans for this one is cross-hatching and just hatching in general. Think kind of like the Haruka piece from the beginning of Inktober. I want to do some more stuff of that. So I am diving right into the inking, and this was quite the process. I spent about an hour on the ink, just the general bits, and then I spent an additional hour just doing the cross-hatching. Like, no joke. Half of the time spent on this was the cross-hatching. It's so time-consuming, but it turns out so beautiful, so I'm okay with it. Since this video features two of my OCs and I haven't talked about them yet, I figured I could talk a little bit about them. So, the guy I'm inking right now is Epsilon. He is Pumi, or what's it called? Hungarian Terrier, I think is the English name for it. And he is very tiny. He is very, very small. He stands about 151 centimeters, I think. But yeah, so he's very tiny and very short, and he's kind of a gloomy character, though also more neutral. He's not very energetic or loud. He's not the type to crack jokes and stuff like that. He's neutral, bordering gloomy. And then we have Sigma here, who is very tall. She is 176 centimeters, and she's a Great Dane. So that's why she's so tall. And funny thing is, I created Sigma and Epsilon even before Bourgeois Monogatari existed, and my only reason for creating Sigma, no joke, we were on vacation on Cyprus and I was watching Scooby-Doo. I wanted to make a Great Dane character because Scooby-Doo is a Great Dane. Honestly, it's a great cartoon, but I digress. So Sigma is a very cheerful and happy person. There is very little that bothers her. She is quite confident. She's also very kind and really just thinks the best of people. She rarely judges anyone for anything. A little bit about them together, maybe. They are a couple, and they both sort of believe that they are soulmates, so they actually have couple tattoos. Sigma has a white angel-styled wing on the front of her left shoulder, and Epsilon has a red devil-styled wing on the back of his right shoulder. And they got those when they were pretty young. They're actually pretty young here too. They're like 18, 19 maybe. But yeah, they believe they are destined to be together. And it's kind of funny though, because they barely have anything in common. Epsilon is very interested in music. He can play a lot of instruments. He is very talented. And Sigma is a cheerleader. She is very physically talented, so they're very much polar opposites. Like, she is very strong physically and he is very strong intellectually, and I think they complement each other like that. And she's very happy, he's very gloomy. Just, they play off each other very well. Now that I've told you a little bit about them, I figured I could tell you a little bit about the drawing as well, the process, what I was thinking, stuff like that. And I'll start with this ink wash. I decided to use ink wash, and I was debating how much ink wash I should use, because initially I was only going to do Sigma's hair and Epsilon's pants. But the contrast between Epsilon's skin and his hair is pretty big. He has very pale gray skin and his hair is teal colored, so I felt like I needed to put some color in his hair as well, just to create more contrast. And I've gotten started on the cross-hatching now, and it was murder. Seriously, you're watching this at 30 times normal speed, and it still took 2 whole minutes of like footage to cram all of this into the video. I considered cutting parts out, but I think it's kind of cool to watch the entire pattern take form, especially when it is a pattern, like this type of hatching. For the sleeves, like the bottom of his sleeves, they're supposed to be rolled up, so I made the pattern smaller on them as well as on the collar and the bottom of the shirt, just to create some contrast between the main pattern and those bits of the shirt. And to create the shadows, I simply hatched in the opposite direction. For Sigma's shirt, I went with the, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to call it, chevrons? I think that's a term. But I went with the chevron pattern and found a method that worked where I made some lines and then flipped the paper and made the same lines. You know how it's easier to draw a line in a certain direction. And same with her. To create the shadows, I just hatched in the opposite direction. One thing I regret when hatching Sigma's shirt, though, is that I hatched parts, those parts at her shoulders, and I wish I hadn't done that because it didn't turn out very good. But the drawing is finished 2 hours later, and I think it turned out really cute anyway, so I'm happy. This was what I had for you. Here are some close-ups of the hatching too. But yeah, cleaned up piece right here on the end slate, linked to yesterday's video, which I suggest you don't go watch because it's awful. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow for Inktober, day 26. Bye!